Welcome back, Portugal Junkies.
Hello, good morning.
We are happy to...
No, it's not. It's just gone 12.
Why are you telling everybody our secrets?
Well, we only got up like an hour ago. No, not really.
No.
Not really. No.
That is not true.
That is not true.
I was up at like 8.
You were. I was up at like 9-ish. I said 9-ish.
Yeah.
The other side
Thank
of 9.
God this place has made him chill out and sleep in. I'm
Yeah.
very proud of you most of the time. And then you're like, then you feel guilty about it. And
I do.
I'm like,
I do.
why?
It's like, well, I could have done something.
You could have.
I could have, but clearly I wasn't that interested in it, or at least not interested enough to get my ass out of bed.
We have to also remember that we're trying to change our schedule.
That's also very true.
We're trying to change our schedule from, there's not much going on in the mornings here. But there's a lot going on at night, especially in the summer. And if we don't change our schedule, we're going to miss out on the stuff.
Yeah, because
like last night, we were out late.
Yeah.
So were you. You were out very late.
We were.
But I wasn't out as late. But late for me.
You're 11:30 for you.
11. That was pretty
20
late.
past, half past for you. Yeah.
It's like we're kids again. It's like we're kids again.
Yeah.
That's what Portugal will do for you.
Sure is.
We have a fun surprise today. So we were trying to think about how we could get a little bit more creative with the pod. And I was like, what if we just prepare a few questions for each other that nobody knows, like the interviewee, the guest, like if I'm asking Mark something, he has no idea what I'm going to ask. I have
no clue where this is going to go.
And I think that would be cool. So we're going to do that today.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask Mark a few questions about our experiences here and our move abroad and et cetera, et cetera. And then next week he'll come back and ask me questions. So
yeah,
I think it'll be fun.
I'm going to see how tough you make these versus because that will direct the way that I want to ask questions.
It's not a test.
I don't get a certificate.
I will make you a certificate.
Yes.
Yes.
Make me a certificate.
Okay, I'll make you a certificate. Okay, here's the first question.
Okay.
What top personality traits do you feel are a must-have for anyone who is considering a move abroad?
Personality traits, top. You have got to be willing to go with the flow. We're talking about here in Portugal, us.
Yeah, in general.
Yeah, just
I think
you got to go with the flow. You can come here from the UK, America, Australia, wherever. It doesn't matter, but you can't bring all of those things with you that you've grown up around and learned experiences. So, like customer service in America, you need something done on a Friday at 7 p.m. You can likely get somebody on the phone. You try and do that here. Number one, you're never going to get anybody on the phone. It doesn't matter what time of day, but Friday at 7, not a chance. Yeah. And I think you've just got to be able to let go of all of those preconceived experiences.
Yes.
Enjoy them for what they were, where they were, but you've now going to have to learn a new way of living.
How it is here.
Yeah.
Because you catch me sometimes.
Bureaucracy. Yeah.
Because, I think we catch each other, but oftentimes I'll be impatient about something or frustrated with something. And I think we try to quickly remind each other, like, okay, yeah, you can be frustrated, but it's not going to do you
anything. It's not going to change anything.
Because what you experienced in the UK and what I experienced in the US is gone. Mm-hmm. We're not there anymore.
Right.
And so it's just this idea of, it's kind of like assimilation, but not. This is more of like let your expectations of what your experience has been in the past go, because this is a new place and culture is different and all the things.
Absolutely.
That's a good one. Okay, so what else? What are there some other traits that you think are important? Like, if somebody's missing this thing, they probably are not going to do well to move abroad.
I would say if you're not willing to even try and learn the language, I think you're going to miss out a lot. I think you are, just in general, and this isn't talking about bureaucracy or anything like that. I'm just talking about when you go into a cafe. There are a ton of cafes around Tavira and everywhere else in Portugal that have this old scene inside of, all the blokes and the ladies in there just sipping on their whatevers, beers, coffees, wine, all the rest of it. And it's very intimidating for me I speak for myself. It's very intimidating for me to be able to walk into it, because I know the chances of them knowing much, if any, English, being an older generation, and I'm broad brushing here, but
it's less likely.
It's less likely that they're going to know English. So I'm going to have to up my game to be able to get these real cultural experiences that I so wish for.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's, to me, that's another one, and that is really one of the things that's going to push for me. If I need a push as to why I want to learn the language, it's not just because I want to live here and assimilate and make my life easier for me, but I also want to get those other experiences that I'm never going to get unless I push myself.
Yeah, I totally get that, and I totally agree.
And just be willing to go into these places with the broken Portuguese that we have, and
prove to them we're not all assholes,
right? And just because I think at the end of the day, you can go in there and you can take in Google Translate, you can take in sign language, Pictionary, you know what I mean? But it's one of those.
Yeah. Right.
Hot, whatever you want to do. And I think it's definitely a way to experience the root of our town that we now live in. Because it is an old town, it's an older community, it's not happening and all the party town, which thank goodness, because that wouldn't work.
You build community that way too.
Absolutely.
I don't want to just build community with people who speak English.
Right.
I want to build community with people who live here and can share with me the things that other people can't share with me as immigrants. Yeah.
For instance, in one of the Facebook groups, one of the quotes, in quotes, expats, i.e. immigrants. I hate that.
Now you do.
Yeah.
Now that we know better.
Well, when you know better, you do better.
That's right. Excuse me, my Angela.
Check me out.
Excuse you are so
on it.
Hubby.
I'm on it. I can't remember where I was going. Oh yeah, and it was basically just somebody exploring the opportunity of wanting to move to Portugal, and a case of posted in this expat community, looking to move to the Algarve because I want to be able to go somewhere where I can speak my language, speak English, and not have to worry about it. And look, if that's what you want to do, then that's entirely your call. But I'm going to go on record and say you are going to miss out on so much, just because of that way of thinking about living. In your own little bubble, safe and secure. And it may be that you whatever age you are, and you feel uncomfortable about learning a language. And don't get me wrong, I don't know many languages, but I'm definitely willing to fuck it up a few times to get it right.
Yes,
because I want those experiences.
And I keep saying it, and we probably said it so many times here. It's a discipline thing of the learning. Like for us, there's the willingness is there. It's the discipline around how we best learn. And I think both of us, we might learn differently.
Yeah, I think one of the things is not getting up at 9:15.
Well, that might help. Maybe. But I think that's where we're struggling with that. Our willingness is there, but then again, there's this self-discipline thing where you're kind of teaching yourself until we can get into a class, which I hope that we do.
Yeah.
But anyway, I love that.
That would be two of the bigger things from my point.
Good deal. You pass. This is not a pass fail. This is just fun. Okay.
No, it's a pass fail thing.
What has been the most personally challenging part of moving to Portugal for you?
Personally challenging part.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. I think language. I think I'll take it back to language, because for all the time that I was at school and we learned different languages at school, and as I was growing up through different work experiences, I was picking up different languages because of the country I was visiting or whatever. But I still find it, especially now getting older, it's a challenge for me to pick up the language. And I hate to admit that, but I think I have to, because again, when I know that this is the challenge, and I've said it I even said it to Charlie last night, that learning those things is a challenge, but I've got to break through that.
Yeah.
In order to get to the other side and, have a better outlook of what I can experience.
Yeah. No, it's hard. It's hard. I feel like there are certain people. Well, first of all, kids just absorb.
Oh yeah, it's like a wet
things,
sponge, isn't
yes.
it? Yeah.
And we're not kids, so it's hard.
Oh God, we're not kids.
But I also think that there are just certain people who have this affinity for the way they learn languages, and it just clicks for them.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying we're not those people, but I have determined that I don't think it's like a superpower of mine. Right.
I think I can do it. I just have to find what is the most. No, not the most. What is the method? What is the
effective method?
Yeah, the effective method.
Learning
of
what
learning
you need to learn.
Is it going to be sitting in front of the screen with the online course,
or is it flashcards, or is it? If anybody has a method,
yeah, I'd love to know what works for other people.
Yes, and I will tag. I won't tag, but I'll talk about someone. Nathaniel Drew, remember him?
Oh yes.
So this is a creator out there who
absolutely
he does some of the most beautiful introspective videos about living as an American. It was in Paris, but he's been all over, I think.
Yeah.
But he has learned multiple languages, and I think he has a course.
He does have a course.
I'm going to look into this more, because he did say, like, I go in a hole for 2 weeks and I apply like this method that has worked for me.
Right.
And I wouldn't say he says he's fluent, but he knows enough to go into that country and communicate with.
I mean, certainly, French is extremely fluent in that.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think
that's what he was talking about, how he's teaching himself French. So I'm going to look into this because I feel like we do need a methodology. I think you're right. It's but what I worry about is that our methodologies might be different.
They're definitely going to be different because, I like taking it from the online course and the pre-recorded videos that Anita does, and listen, follow through, and all the rest.
PortugueseWithAnita.com.
Very good. And so I like that method, but maybe that's the thing. Maybe it's a case of trying to just put myself in a cave for a couple of weeks, and that is my job. Right. This is now a job.
Right.
The payment is going to be the reward element.
That's right.
Of being able to go out there and use it.
It brings me. No, God, I love the joy.
No end of joy when somebody says, "Oh, your Portuguese is good."
Yes, or you give an expression. Like, even with our Uber drivers, I think some of them are so surprised when we say, "Tudo bem? How are you?" Or we say, "Deja, see you next time." Or those things that, quite frankly, you don't have to hear. And I think that it's so. I also, another side story to this. Best nail girl in the business in Tavira, Claudia. She does my nails. I see her every 2 weeks, and I look at it like it's my date with Claudia, my Portuguese friend, and she happens to do my nails because that's what it's become. I adore her. She is so good, but she is so well fluent in English, and she teaches me things in Portuguese that are not like the stuff you learn in books, right? So yesterday I went to go get my nails done, and I was talking about how I saw this Instagram account that was basically random, off the cuff Portuguese expressions that make no sense literally, but anybody who's Portuguese in translation, but a Portuguese person knows exactly what they mean when they say it. And so she latched onto this room. She was just literally, we spent like 2 hours sitting there.
Just
she was
coming
doing
out
my
with
nails,
these
talking about expressions, and then she would say it out loud and then translate it for me, and she'd be like, "I know that sounds so weird, but we know what we're but it's like expressions in any language." But it just makes I want to be able to go into a place and have the ability to even pull a Portuguese expression out of my pocket. Right. Because the relatability there is just it's really cool.
Yeah. And again, I saw, I think it was Caitlin, lives up in Stubal. And
the Country Jumper.
The Country Jumper is one of her one of her accounts.
I'm plugging everybody. I don't even know Caitlin, but I know.
No, but I feel like I know her through all the videos she posts. Caitlin. She does a lot of videos, and they're all good fun and in good spirit and informative. And she said, there was something about, I think I finally cracked it. You know that you've got it right when you're having a conversation, just a short conversation, with the old lady that's leaning out the window, hanging their washing on the washing line in the street. I
saw that too.
And you just have this conversation from the street, and she's on her balcony or hanging out the window, sort of thing.
It's very Portuguese.
And it's very Portuguese. And again, it takes me back to, if you're not prepared to learn the language, you're going to miss out on these things.
That's right.
Because that is going to be a memory that's just stuck in there.
Yeah, stuck in there.
Stuck.
My dear, sweet listeners, I say this with all the love in my heart. If you haven't traveled in beautiful Portugal yet, what are you waiting for? You are missing out big time. Iconic beaches, delicious wine, centuries of history, and honestly, some of the most beautiful people that you will ever meet. Why do you think we moved here? So, when you're ready, we are ready to help you plan the most perfect customized Portugal itinerary just for you, and more importantly, how you like to travel. Family trip with the kiddos, lazy girl travel, history buffs, foodies, combinations of all of those, we got you. After exploring Portugal since 2022 and then immigrating here, we're really excited to build travel plans for you that help you see this gorgeous, special place by understanding the way that you like to travel. Book a free call with us right now on our Stan store at stan.store/Portugal Junkies, and we'll talk through your ideal trip and start planning your customized Portugal itinerary. You'll even get your final itinerary on an app to use during your trip for easy access right on your phone while you're here. Remember, adventure is a verb, y'all. We're excited to help you plan yours.
Okay, are you ready for another question?
Do I get a certificate?
I told you that I would give you a certificate.
I need proof.
Do you see us living in Portugal for the rest of our lives? Why or why not?
Shit. Honestly,
there's no right or wrong answer.
Honestly, I don't know. Okay, is the overarching answer to that. In the here and now, yes, because I don't see myself, I don't see myself going back to the UK to live in the UK. I don't see us going back to live in America. Now, whether it then stays as Portugal or it becomes another country. Another country. Sorry, that's me. Another country.
What other country comes to mind?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. Because at the moment, I'm not even looking that far out, because I'm still haven't even scratched the surface of what is available here to enjoy, to learn from, to grow into.
Yeah.
And again, being fortunate enough to be in the Algarve now, whether that's where we stay, if we were going to be here for another 10 years, and, would those 10 years be all in the Algarve, or would we go back up north or into the mountains, or, what would we do? And honestly, I don't know, because I can't see myself wanting to change anything about how I live today.
Right.
With the people that I've got around me, in the location that I'm at.
Since October.
Right. And I just don't feel that urge. You know me well enough to know that for me, it's like, okay, every other year and a
He's
half.
a rolling stone.
It's like, what's next? Where are we going? What are we doing? Where are we
Your feet
moving
get
to?
itchy sometimes.
Right, I do get itchy feet. And I have not felt that feeling at all. Number one, while being in Portugal, but number two, while definitely being here. And the only reason we got itchy feet in Porto is because of the weather. And we weren't going to go through that again.
Yeah.
But also, you know, I think to answer it is, why not? I think it just comes down to, at this moment in time, I don't see it being anything other than Portugal. And I don't see it being anything other than Tavira.
Yeah. I'm so happy here right now. I think a lot of that has to do with the community and the friends that we've made, and feeling like you have a support system that is, it's huge.
Yeah.
And I get it when, you know, we've seen CNN articles about people who go, oh, I went to Spain and I came home to the U.S. because it wasn't what I expected. I guarantee you those people didn't immerse themselves and didn't find a group that they felt secure with and trust and have a support system around them, because that's how I felt in Porto too. Like, not that I was ready to go home, but I think that's why Porto never felt like home.
Yeah.
We enjoyed being there, but I feel like that's the big difference. And for us, a smaller community just meant that we could get to know people easier. And that's what has happened here.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's a key when you're moving abroad, is to make sure you put yourself out there so that you can create those relationships, so that you do have that support system, so that the place starts to feel like home.
Yeah.
You know, that's the difference for Tavira, for me, for sure.
Yeah.
I like it that you say I don't know, because if you were to ask me that same question, I think
you never know, I might. Don't answer yet.
Okay.
I might just pull that one out.
I do believe that I would say I don't know, though, because
there's no point in me asking the question.
No, I'm just, let me finish.
Gonna finish.
So I feel
however,
like,
comma.
Oh my God. The listeners are like, seriously, you guys get to it. I feel like when we moved here and we made that huge decision to, like, you know, jump out on faith and be like, okay, let's go try this for a life that's more exciting and all of that. We leaned into the I don't know. Oh, and I was really, really proud of us for doing that.
In many categories.
And becoming okay with saying I don't know as a couple was relatively easy for you and me. And I can see how it can be challenging for other people. That uncertainty is not cool for some people, but for me, it's like, that's what keeps life really interesting to me. So I'm like with you. I'm not saying that I'm not anywhere near close to wanting to go to the next place, because I feel like we have found something really special here. But yeah, it's hard for me to look at us as our experience over the past 8 years together and go, anything is definite, because I feel like we've already proven that as a couple we can go and do these things, and we kind of thrive on that. Yeah. So I'm not going to toss that out of the realm of possibility.
No, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, for all the things that I've done in places that I've moved to and ultimately ended up in the States, and, you know, we got together and we moved here. All of those things, that for me personally, they just help remind me that you don't have to have the next best thing, or, you know, the next thing. It can just be
contentment,
what it is.
Yeah.
And just be happy with that. So yeah, I mean, that's where I feel I sit at this minute in time.
I'll also say this. I saw somebody post on Instagram recently. I can't remember who it was. I'm sorry, I'm not giving you a shout out, but the idea was that stop picking places to move abroad based on, like, I don't know, the glitz and the glam of things.
I was going to go the opposite. I was going to say, don't pick a place based on how much tax can I pay, or how little tax can I pay? How can I get away without, you know, paying too much?
See, I feel like what the creator was saying, and maybe I didn't explain it well, but the idea is that look at it logically. she was trying to say, look at all of these countries. And Portugal is not on the list, by the way. Look at all of these countries who make it very easy for you to move there in comparison to others.
Oh, no wonder Portugal wasn't on there.
Right, because Portugal doesn't make it easy.
No.
But I liked her approach to that because it's real life. Like, I think she was talking about Albania and Romania and Uruguay, and they were just, right? It's like, technically, you would have lower cost of living. It's easy for you to get a visa, typically, than other countries like Spain or Portugal or Italy or France, right? And it hit me because I was like, she's right. If you're really trying to leave the States and you're trying to do it in a way that makes most sense for you in terms of financially and the ease of getting out quick, there's tons of places that would allow you to do that.
Yeah.
So it's just, they're not the most popular places that everybody's posting travel content about.
Right.
So that's what I meant by the glitz and glam.
I see.
That was
But even so, I mean, if that's the case, then surely that's a great opportunity to really explore, because you're not going into Instagram or TikTok or anything like that and thinking, wow, those photos from Sorrento look wonderful. Those from Positano are amazing. And I want to go to that restaurant that's in that place. If you've got no roadmap created by anybody else, then that roadmap that's right in front of you, that blank page, is the one that you're going to create. It's the one that is going to that you're going to map through however long you're going to be there for. Yeah. And that I think is one of the things that really excites me about, I don't know where this is going.
Yeah.
In the next 5 years, 10 years, 15, if I'm lucky, all of that. And I'm just very happy to not know some of those things in this minute.
Well, this segues us into my next question.
Ooh.
What would be the deal breaker that would make us leave Portugal?
Us leave Portugal.
Well, hopefully it will always be an us. Jesus.
Just gotta keep your options open.
They're probably just sitting the mic crazy.
Well,
anyway.
Gosh, what would be a deal breaker that would cause us to leave? Honestly, I think it would have to be something external, not something in Portugal.
I think so. Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it would have to be something external of family, that necessitated, being somebody's 100% carer.
Right.
Because there's no way that I would put anything in front of family.
Right.
Now, whether that would happen, I don't know. At the moment, different things are going on, but we're nowhere near that.
Yeah.
I don't know that there's anything, because even if we go for our second appointment, residency renewal, and they say no, well, you can appeal it, and I'm not expecting them to say no, but if they say no, then where does that leave us? That's the only thing, but then that's something that would be pushed on us as opposed to me having to make a conscious decision, or us making a conscious decision.
Maybe I should have said, regardless of, except for them telling us to leave.
Right. If they say leave and I say no, I'm going to throw my toys out the pram and I'm going to stay.
So deal breaker would be that we have a family requirement of us.
I don't foresee, let me put it this way then, I don't foresee a reason as it stands why we would want to leave here.
What if politically things were?
Honestly, honey, I think that political landscape will be changing. I think it's inevitable, unfortunately. I think that's, whether it's a full majority or whether it's, a coalition of Chega and another party now or in the future. I think that we are quite not immune from, but we don't experience any of the negative hurling of abuse or shouting or all of that happens in the bigger population cities against immigration.
Oh, okay. Got it where you're going. Okay.
But equally, you can look at, well, what other countries have gone far right, have gone.
Well, I wouldn't
that
say,
way.
and let me be clear on this. I do not feel like Portugal is far right at all.
Oh, no.
But again, we see it cropping up in countries all over the world where far right groups are gaining traction. Let's just put it that way. And unfortunately, I think what's happening in the U.S. is emboldening that. It has been for the past decade because of Trump. And it's not that it wasn't always there. I mean, it's always been there.
Right.
It's just that now it's more clear that those parties and those people exist, unfortunately. But that was the first thing that came to mind when I was writing the question out. I was like, if it got to the point where there were things that were affecting, well, then it may with immigration, as we are immigrants here, and you watch what's happening in the U.S. and it makes me sick to my stomach.
Right.
So anyway, I think that you're right. It would probably be external things that are happening in the landscape that would cause us to leave, but I think we would be very far away from that for a while. I think that it would take years, I think, for us to get to that point where we would leave because of that situation, or the situation we get as that bad,
untenable,
exactly,
and in our face all
100%.
the time. And,
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's interesting. It's
yeah.
interesting to think about deal breakers because I don't know. We moved from the U.S. before the deal breakers actually happened. That would have been our deal breakers.
Right. And again, the amount of conversations that we have with people on one-on-ones.
Yeah.
And it's
like-minded
generally
people call us.
Like-minded people.
That's right.
I don't think we're going to get any others, but
they should know better.
They probably should know better. But we got out early enough.
We weren't running at the time.
We're not running at it.
Right.
Now,
we weren't running away
people.
from it.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Right.
Because we were still under an administration and we thought that there was no way we would be where we are right now
right.
in the United States. So it didn't feel like we were running away. It felt like we were running to. And I'm glad for that because I think our approach to that has helped us immensely.
Yeah.
And choose the place wisely for us. But.
And I think, at the end of it, the way that the country is going, the way that the feelings are going in the States particularly, I just have my heart right out there for anybody that's considering a move out of the States. And whether that's here, whether it's wherever it is, it cannot be easy because you're trying to do the right thing by you and or family, whatever the case is. But you just held to somebody else's timing. And all you want to do is, I know that I can move now. I've got the money. I've got the infrastructure. I've got the work from home job that I can do in any country, all of those things. And now you've got to battle against a system that, is just something that I'm fortunate enough not to have to feel that system.
Yeah, it's, again, it makes me think about, because we were just talking about a deal breaker and politically and all those things. And even just saying earlier, it would really have to be in our face, meaning it would really have to affect us and be in our lives. And just saying that out loud makes me sick because most of the time, those things don't affect us. No. Even in the States, I'm going home for a couple of weeks coming up, and I'm not really anxiety ridden about traveling. I was a couple months ago, and now I'm like, what are the chances, knock on wood, but what are the chances that, this gray-haired white girl is going to be somebody's target? I know better. I know that my privilege probably helps me. It does help me 100%.
For sure.
So it's hard to even, it's difficult to even talk about these things in a way that even assumes that they will ever touch us. But I also know that it's happening all over the place. And so
yesterday and today, and it will happen tomorrow to some people.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So on that cheery note,
this was fun. Tune in next week because he's going to ask me some questions.
I am.
I'm giving him a whole week to figure out what the questions are.
I'm gonna
See
need a
the
whole
advantage?
week. Yeah, I'm going to need a whole week. Do you know what would be really interesting is to put it into GPT and say,
"Oh God, you can't even come up with 4 or 5 questions for me."
I would just be really curious to see what it would say.
Maybe that's what you should do. Those are the questions.
Yeah, those are the questions that I ask.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.
Thank you very much.
And yeah.
Thanks for the therapy session.
I know, it was a good one. Cheers, y'all.
Cheers. Take care.
Listen up, future expats. For more content about our move, the visa process, Portuguese culture and destinations, and tons of support resources for your own decisions and potential move abroad, follow us at Substack, TikTok, and Instagram at Portugal Junkies.
Stay in touch and help us reach more people by subscribing here and following us there.
Cheers, y'all!